Hello, welcome back to my second life. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about landscaping and physics in Second Life, as well as optimizing your design. Very simple things here. Let's say you're putting down a lot of trees and grass and a bunch of stuff. For physics, here we go with a tree. This is a Skye tree. Skye Enchanted Woods. And if you can tell by the colors here that the bottom prim 0, is physical, and the rest of all this stuff is set to non-physical shape, so that you can walk through it. So the only prim that means anything, or the object that means something, is down here, that will react to whatever you're going to do. Now, in regards to this, let's say I've set up a nice design. I'm playing golf, for example. I don't want my little pointer showing up when I'm trying to do stuff, meaning when someone else is golfing, they don't need to see this. So what I do with this is, I'm using Firestorm. It's pretty much the same thing in the default SL browser, but you can click to and say none. Don't use ignore object, but say none. And that way, my little pointer goes away. So it's no longer interfering or distracting or whatever. The same applies to rocks or anything else. Now, the reason that it would have a pointer is usually because it has a script in it. And I have scripts. I don't want to delete the scripts because I want to do some season changes. And I'd rather not set the scripts to not running. They really are not intense, because I've got a lot of trees. And they're all linked. So if I change one tree, it changes them all. I could leave one tree with the pointer on like this, or I could simply, when I want to access the script, I right click and say touch. Then it brings up the menu, and I can change it, and that's how you do that. And that way you can keep the scripts and things that are linked or not linked if you don't want to see this. Now here I've got the same thing with a single tree that's not linked. I've got this and this. Now I've got multiple trees like that. I don't want to delete the scripts in them. So I'm going to select one, hold my shift key down and select the other. And then I set the click to none. And there gets rid of the pointer. But I can still right click and touch. If it didn't have a script in it, right click and touch. I already did this with one. But if it didn't have a script in it, it wouldn't show me a touch option. Like this doesn't have a script in it. And there's no touch option. So when I want to change the entire region of the entire parcel that I'm on, I could do it this way by changing one, and it changes them all. Now, rocks are another issue with this. I'm not really worried about the trees because they're mesh. And if I want to create a physics thing so that it will interact with NPCs, or let's say a golf ball, want it to react a certain way, I'll put a prim around this that does that. And I'll leave that alone. But with rocks, I don't want to put prims over every rock. The problem with a lot of creators is when they create something under the features, they set whatever the physics shape it is, and they set it to wood. But wood has a very distinctive, non-intense reaction when it comes to NPCs and everything else. But they have some defaults here. We can say flesh or rubber or whatever. I want to say stone here. That's what that is. And notice that the gravity changed. Let's go back and do that again. The gravity is 1, and the friction is 0.6, and the density is 1,000. The bounciness is 500. Now, when I change to rubber, it changes this dramatically. It goes up to 900 and 900. And if I change it to stone, it changes that from friction up to 800 and bounciness up to 400. And that's fine. That'll give us some, the things interacting with it will know this, know how to deal with this. They engage it. Now, I don't set it to rubber because I want it to bounce. I want a golf ball to bounce off it and not fall into it. But wood is just not a good thing for that. And rubber could affect how you walk on it. So let's say I'm walking up onto the rock. I want to be bouncing up and down on the rock. I want it to be a stone thing. But there are other ways to do this. Now I can select one and the other because all these rocks are linked. And if I change one, it changes them all. Unless I unlink it in the menu. I'm not talking about unlinking here in the editor. So I've set that to none. And that gets rid of the pointed. Notice I got some things. So these trees here, these white trees, are all in a... I can change all of this with a menu. With a HUD. Sorry, a HUD. And so it will change everything in these, in the region or parcel, because that I own, because these have scripts in them. And then I got my standalone rocks that aren't linked, like this. And I want to keep the script in it if I go to winter. It's an individual one, so I could say none. If I wanted to, I can also change. I want to also see how many linked parts. Only one section in there, not multiple parts. And then I'm going to say stone to that. And like I said, I can do multiple rocks the same way. Multiple. Select multiple. But I can't change the physics shape. I can change the physics shape and all the other settings, but I can't change the default type, stone or flesh or whatever. I have to do that individually. So I get this one, and I can change it to stone. Changes the gravity, friction, density, and bounciness. Change that to a stone. And so it will know how to react with that. So now I can click both of them. Go over and select the other one. Go back to the General tab and say no. So when I change it, same thing, right-click, touch, and I can do whatever I want. Okay, here's another stone, epic stone. I'm going to set the... I'm going to set it... If you don't see an available option here, that means it has too many parts. It has multiple parts. So... you will have to edit them individually. And I'll show you how to do that right now. See? No pointy finger. Okay, I've got these Skye rocks. Landform rocks here. They're all... I've already... Except for this one, I've set these up already. But what I want this to react a certain way when it engages something. Now, see, this is blind, is grayed out. I can't do it. Change anything. Then I have to go to edit link, go to the first link, and I can change what type that is. And I'll change it to stone. I'll go to the second one, which is a bottom underside prim, and I'll change that to stone. I would not recommend mixing different physics shapes types. I want it to be solid. This one, I can change it to stone. Next link, stone. Here to this one, say stone. Go to the next link, say stone. I change the gravity, friction, density, and bounciness. Like a tree I will have to do, but all the rocks here are done. Now these I gotta change, so I'm gonna go ahead and put those to stone. Because I only have one part, I don't have to do more than one. And select them both and say click done for click 2. And that way I don't have in my area, except for this one, I would say stone. Done. So here I am. And if you notice, I'm here, I'm playing golf. And now there's no distractions of my arrow turning into a click, little pointy thing like that. This example I have here, I've got a bunch of grass, lint grass, and up here I have more lint grass that has a script in it. Now let's say I have a golf ball. I'm going to put it in. I want to put this in to the one without scripts. So there it is in the middle of the grass. So there I am. So now I want to, it's got no script in it, I'm going to go ahead and use a free wedge. And I want to touch this little thing here. And I can do that. And that without a problem. Now let's say I wanted to do that with a script, but with something with a script in it. Power, my grass. I'm going to go ahead and get it in here directly. There, I'm in the middle of it. And I want to hit it now. And if I try to click this, the script comes up because this is touch. Close this. So in order for me to have this, so my people, my golfers won't have this problem, is to say select done as the click to, even though I'm keeping the scripts inside. So now, instead of my script going off, I can click my ball or click whatever's in it or under it by mistake. Like you say, you had your baby crawling around and got into the grass. And you need to click the baby in order to get it to move or do something else. And that's how you would do it. It's a really simple trick. Some people like to remove all the scripts because it'll reduce the lag on a sim, but more modern scripts don't have a lot of problems or issues with with being overwhelming to a server. But when you're talking about physics shapes, everyone's setting everything to wood. And everything is wood. So your chair is wood, your grass is wood, your rocks are wood. So if you want to be able to design for NPCs, non-player, robots or whatever the hell, or golf balls, you would need to change the physics shape, like I just did. And the stone and the stone. And they, like I said, they should be both, because you want that gravity and friction to be the same for both link parts. And in some cases, and so let's say you're not going to be walking up on a wall, and all these little parts on there, this moss and all this, I don't need those to be physical shapes because they're going to overlap and the server has to process it. So I set my main parts to rubber, my main big parts to rubber. And that changes the bounciness. If a ball bounces up against it, it's going to bounce off. And everything else I set to none. The little bits and the pieces that don't really matter. This one's rubber, it's another big one. All these little bits got to be set to none because they absolutely don't need to be processed by the server as a physical object, overlapping another physical object. It'll cause you a lot of trouble in the long run. With NPCs, babies, golf ball. And there you go. Just some simple design. And hopefully, you'll be able to optimize your areas if you're doing landscaping and get rid of the little pointy fingers where it doesn't need to be. Only the owner needs to have a pointy finger, and we're given that option. Golfers, friends, family, visitors, they don't need to be seeing all these little pointy fingers. And like I said, you can take the scripts out, change that to no pointy finger. But if you have a lot of landscaping that all changes depending on what you set it as, it's going to be better to do it this way. In any case, thanks for visiting my channel, and I'll talk to you at another time.